Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good morning to all. So, welcome to our to another series of graduate success attributes inaugural lecture. Okay, so here we have Professor Dr. Zaidaton binti Tasir as our speaker, who will give her speech on scholarship skills. Okay, scholarship skills is one of the graduate success attributes, and I believe many students are wondering about these skills because they are unfamiliar with this skill. Okay, so without any further ado, I would like to call upon our invited speaker who I consider a great scholar in UTM. Alright, Prof Zaidaton binti Tasir. Okay, Prof.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you very much, Dr. Nur Fahana, for the brief introductions about myself. Hello, everybody. I hope everybody is actually in a good condition. So, first of all, thank you, ILEC, for inviting me as one of the speaker for the inaugural lecture for UTM students. So, today I will share a topics on who is a true scholar, the scholarship skills. So, you will become a scholar when you decided to read and learn as much about the world as you can. You become a scholar once you decided that culture remains when everything else is gone. You become a scholar once the beautiful words of skilled authors are imprinted in you so deep that you can quote them. At last, you become a scholar once you have confessed to yourself you will have to die if you were forbidden to read and learn. Hard work, focused mind, clarity of thoughts, and your determination should be high. Perseverance play a very important role in our life, whether it could be for success or to be a scholar. But at the end, our ability also matters. So you want to be a scholar? Let us learn together how to nurture yourself to become a scholar. Are you ready? Let us move to the next slide. So today, I will share 4 topics that will cover in my talk. The first one is on future job skills and Gen Z. Second one is on UTM graduate attributes. The third one is on a road to become a scholar. And the last one, inculcating UTM scholarship skills. Some thoughts on being a scholar. First and foremost, a true scholar is a modest and a humble person. Because if he or she are very proud and arrogant, is it an act of ignorance? No matter what and how much you know, always remember that there is someone who knows far more or better than you do. A continuous seeker of knowledge is a scholar. Learn from who are above you, similar to your rank and below your grades in knowledge. Support the cause of the poor and needy in their seek for knowledge. A scholar also have to maintain good intentions of serving societies and humanities. Maintain a spirit of giving. Specializing might be in one or couples of subjects, but your knowledge base has to be very broad because other sciences will act as a backup and support to what you specialize in. One of the reasons why everybody has to be a scholar, especially the university student, is because the future job skills is totally changed nowadays. And as a generation Z or Gen Z, all of you also have to know your capability and what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses. So I will share some rationale why you need and must be a scholar. Everybody knows that in the 21st century learners, you have to cover all of these skills because the industry want you to actually have all of these skills. Some of the skills that you need to cover after you graduated are globally aware, you must be a good communicator, you must be a problem solver, critically engaged in every job or task that been given by your the industry later on. You must be a critical thinker, you must be a good collaborator, information and media literate, financially and economically literate, and innovators, and also as a self-directed learners. Let me focus on a few important attributes as a 21st century learners that you need to be covered. You need to cover. The first one is on globally aware. Encouraging this mindset across all subjects will help to prepare all of you for the rapidly globalizing economies and the growing needs for worldwide collaboration. So therefore, you need to actually learn and expose to new ideas, different cultures and lifestyle, which is actually will open up the discussion and get all of you engaging with the rich varieties within the world. As a problem solver also, you need to have ability to develop creative solutions to everyday problems and engage with the authentic cases around us. As a critical thinker, you need to actually know how to think outside the box, and you need to have ability to make connections between an arguments and knowledge sources. So therefore, you have to know also, beside covering all the attributes as a 21st century learners, nowadays the top 10 job roles in increasing demands across industry also has been changed. These are the top 10 job roles that increase very well nowadays. The first one is that data analytics and scientists. The second one is artificial intelligence and machine learning specialists, big data specialists, digital marketing and strategy specialists, process automation specialists, business development professional, digital transformation specialists, information security analyst, software and application developer, and internet of things specialist. And demand for technological, social and emotional and higher cognitive skill will rise by 2030. The top 10 skills of 2025 also not much difference with the top 10 job roles that have been mentioned in the previous slide. You can see that most of the skills are focusing on the soft skills that you need to cover, and all of this is actually will relate on the scholarship skills. Several skills such as critical thinking, analysis, creativity, originality, leadership, technology use, resilience, stress tolerance and flexibility, reasoning, problem solving and ideation. This is all under the umbrella of scholarship skills. And also, the core works related skills have been divided into three category skills. The first one is on your abilities. This is actually related closely to your cognitive skills. How smart are you? What are the knowledge that you have learned at the university? And beside that, the basic skills that covering on the active learning skills, the oral expressions, reading skills, reading comprehension skill, ICT literacy, that one all fall under the basic skill. The third category is cross functional skills, and scholarship skill is fall under the cross functional skills. Some skills such as social skill, resource management skill, technical skill, system skill, and complex problem solving skills are those skills that you need to cover when you're going to join the industry or job place later on in the future. Well, I've been mentioned on the skills that you need to cover when you actually graduated soon, but we have to know also some the conditions of Gen Z, which is all of you. All of you actually fall under Z generation, and some parts of the moments of truth that you need to know is that most of Gen Z is actually love to use social media. And which social media platform of Gen Z check on daily basis? You can see it from the graph. Instagram is the popular one. The second one is YouTube, Snap, Facebook, Twitter, and so on. And we can see also about 73% of Gen Z focusing on text and chat. So that's why WhatsApp is actually the popular applications that all of you love to use, and you use it to contact all your professors and lecturers. So let us learn some of the generations, that the developments of generation in the world that you are here, which is actually called as Zoomers and Generation Z. This is those who actually born from 1997 to 2012. And your junior, some of your junior fall under the generation Alpha. So Gen Z is the newest generation, and as I did mention, born between 1997 and 2012. They are currently between 8 or 9 and 24 years old by now. I believe those who join our sessions today, you are at the age of 20 or 21, or might be some of you might be younger than that. And Generation Z refer to babies born from the late 90s through today's, and a flurry of potential labels has also appeared, including Gen Technology, post-millennials, I generation, Gen Y5, and Zoomers. That are the names that can be labeled for you, for all of you. Last year, Gen Z became the largest generations and constituting 32% of the global populations, which is actually 2.47 billions of the 7.7 billion peoples on earth, surpassing the millennials and baby boomers respectively. So this is the moment of truth that we have to understand, and you also have to understand about yourself. So some of the advantages, your strength and weaknesses. Gen Z has an 8-second attention span, totally different with my generations. You have a 5-screen culture. You can actually multitasking using several devices at the same time. You like your privacy. You aspire to create things. You aspire to want to make a difference. You want to make a difference. And the core characteristic of Generation Z, you are actually racial diversity. You are the first digital native. You should be proud of it. You are pragmatic and financially minded. And you also can be categorized having a mental health challenges, known also as a lonely generation. Don't be short on it, okay? Screwed consumer, because you have been influenced a lot with online advertising and everything, and politically progressive. And as a digital pioneer who bore a witness to the explosion of technology and social media, you was born into a world of peak technological innovation, where innovation was immediately accessible and social media increasingly ubiquitous. And in terms of the mental health challenges, this is a sad story and a sad characteristic of Generation Z, which has been referred to by some as the loneliest generation, as your endless hours spent online can foster feeling of isolation and depression. So be careful on that, okay? More time spent on smartphones or watching Netflix means less time spent cultivating meaningful relationships. So that's why you need to balance yourself, not only access or on watch movies on Netflix and YouTube. You have to collaborate and you have to get along with your friends and family. Additionally, many young people fall prey to the compare and despair trap that social media present. So this is where you have to make sure that your mental health is actually in a good condition. Gen Z also have 7 personality traits that define all of you. You are pragmatic, again, you are competitive, you are connected, you're socially responsible, you're customizers, you are into any events, especially on social media, you have self reliance. And some of the other perspective on Gen Z are you are more global. And you are more global than my generations. You are under the influence. You are more demanding. Sometimes you are more demanding. It's quite challenging also to understand your characteristic. You are eager to stand up. Okay, you after experience, you have the experience that you do defines in a way that not so that you can show off sometime. You are pro social responsibility. This is what we can categorize as a Gen Z. This is some of the moments of truth that everybody has to know, and especially all of you, the Z generation, you have to know about this. Comparing about generation Y and generation Z, totally there are different in terms of interest and hobbies. All of you love to play games. You are gamers. You might be prefer sport compared to looking at whether you fit or not. You love to use a Snapchat and YouTube. You love music like generation Y, and you also like to watch TV and Netflix compared to reading. Okay, and some of the, as I did mention on the sad story on the mental health of Gen Z, this is all some of the statistics I would like to share with you, that if you look at the mental health of Gen Z compared with other generations, it looks like the Gen Z is least likely to report very good or excellent mental health. This is the report under the source of APA for the Generation Z at America. So you can see that only 45% of Gen Z in America fall under a good mental health. And new events that's facing Gen Z, you can see that some of the consequences when the Gen Z stress in America, they have a mass shooting, the rise in suicide rates, climate change and global warming, and so on. Okay, and Gen Z also is lonely. It's lonely compared to other generations like millennials, boomers, men and women. So Gen Z, 79% of Gen Z, they feel more lonely. Okay, so this is where you have to know that you need to nurture yourself to become a scholar, and scholarship skill is so important for you to learn, because the needs of the job skills nowadays has been transformed, has been changed a lot, where you can see from my sharing sessions that you need to have this scholarship skill inside you so that you can survive later on when you graduated from UTM. Beside that, the challenges of become a Generation Z is totally different generations that you have been influenced a lot by the social media and other media. So this is where you have to know about it. Okay, next I will actually share with all of you on UTM graduate attributes. With the changes of what the job skill need in the future, so UTM has introduced UTM graduate attributes. So I hope all of you knows that when you graduated from UTM, you should cover all of these attributes. So you know that you need to be good in communication skills, thinking skills, scholarship skills, leadership and teamwork skills, adaptability, global citizen, and enterprising skills. So for today's session, we will focus only on scholarship skill only. In detail, there are 4 aspects under the scholarship skills, which are ability to seek and manage relevant information from a variety of sources. So you have to cover this skill. Ability also to be receptive to new ideas towards self-directed or autonomous learning, and ability to develop an inquisitive mind, and ability to use systematic research methodology, especially in preparing your assignments and also when you submit some of your writing or critical review a paper to your lecturers. So scholar qualities, this is actually the scholar qualities that organization look for. Passion, you have to show passion so that you can become a scholar. Confident, show that you are confident enough as a bachelor degree holder. Composure, enthusiasm, ability to be a team player. That's why in UTM, some classes lecturer put you in a groups to do a group assignment so that you can learn among each other. Analytical skills, foresight, ethics and integrity, productivity, open-mindedness, and also humble. You have to be humble. So what is actually some part of it? For example, passions. We bet you saw this one is coming as one of the important skill that you need to cover, and it is hard to deny that grades matter less than passion to serve. A straight A student without genuine dedications will eventually lose his sense of purpose and notice his energy level flagging in the process of serving his bond. So scholarship actually provider are aware of this and only shortlist individuals who are able to let their desire to contribute shine through during scholarship interview. And confidence, is it important that you put on confidence front of your scholarship interview? During the interview later on, you have to show your confidence. In spite of the heart's palpitations and endless flutters of butterfly in your tummy, scholarship providers must be able to sense that you are an individual of confidence, for this will assure them of your positive conduct during uncertain times. So during the interview sessions, there is a butterfly in your tummy. So how to prove or to show that you are confident? You have to stand for it. You have to show that you are a scholar. So what is actually a scholar? After we been exposed to all the qualities that the scholar must have, what is actually a scholar? A scholar is a person actually who pursue academics and intellectual activities, particularly those that develop expertise in the area of study. In short, a learned or well-educated person, a specialist in a particular branch of knowledge, and scholar, they use empirical evidence to draw their conclusion and take a scientific and well-reasoned approach to their work at all time. And a scholar is an intellectual who set themselves apart through their expertise in the field. They have a high aptitude for inquiry-based exploration, sharp focus to ensure their work is clearly defined, strong curiosity to drive their investigations, and a desire to question why currently accepted ideas are recognized as truth. A scholar applies the scientific methods and logic in their search for objective truth, and true scholarship is the highest form of academic achievement. And in the life of a scholar, the main biographic facts are books. The most important events are taught. So this is where what is the definition of a scholar. A true scholar. A true scholar is actually possess traits that push them to continually strive for excellence. Okay, excellence is one of UTM core values. Remember, ISAS, integrity, okay, synergy, excellence, and sustainability. So, and a true scholar, they use the empirical evidence to draw a conclusion, and they will persevere, especially in the face of difficulty. Their patience take them far. Okay, despite the obstacles they face They relies on science and logic and will not lower their standard for objective truth. And they approach idea with an open mind and a willingness to listen to other points of view. That's the true scholar. And also a true scholar tend to stay humble no matter their success. This make a true scholar surprisingly approachable. Okay, after you have been exposed on the characteristic of true scholar, and before that, why you need to be a scholar. Now, next, we will focus on a route to become a scholar. I believe all of you want to be a scholar. Come on, we must be a scholar. This is actually a part that I will actually share with all of you on how to become a scholar. So, from a student becoming a scholar, is it possible or impossible? Okay, so you have to know that the difference between a student and a scholar is that the student is still in the process of identifying and pursuing their own intellectual potential. But you as a student, you need to learn how to become a scholar from now. Don't wait until you graduated from UTM and then you would like to focus on to become a scholar. In the process to become a scholar, you will explore the topics that interest you. Then you will choose and then you can carve out a niche of yourself in the field of interest after becoming intimately familiar with the classicals and current literature. If you are in the engineering program, so you have to know which topic that you want to explore more, because a scholar is an expertise in your own area. And during your journey, you will learn and stumbles and be challenged by adversity. So this is the reality that you need to face it. And if you can overcome the challenges along the way, you may have a chance at becoming a scholar. And I believe that you and all UTM students, you can become a scholar. So how to build a scholar thinking? Because to be a scholar, the important thing is about your thinking. And the difference between a student and a scholar is that the student is still in the process of identifying and pursuing your own intellectual. And during your journey, you will learn something. And how does a student become a scholar? This is some of the tips to become a scholar. Let's say you or someone you know has expressed an interest in scholarship. How would they even go about it? Does schooling help a student make the jump to an academic and then be a true scholar? Okay, not necessarily. Okay, being book smart is just one of the attributes of a scholar. There must be a deep patience for intellectual exploration and tenacity built on top of that intelligence. To that end, a student could become a scholar in their own personal time by dedicating set time to studying up on their favorite topic. What qualifies someone to become a scholar then? There is no formal process to qualify an individual as a scholar. Although higher formal education in the form of a terminal degree certainly will help, like what you have now, enroll into a bachelor degree program, those who wish to establish themselves as a scholar should attempt to emulate the qualities of other successful scholars to ensure they are on the right path. They may even work with a scholar in types of internship program to learn the ropes from a true expert. So, you have to know that if you want to build a scholarship skill inside you, the important thing is that work and surround yourself with a successful people. And the successful people with you is your professors, your academic advisors, your supervisors, and so on. So, try to emulate the qualities of other successful scholars. Observe what are their lifestyle, what are their habits. So this is how to nurture yourself to become a scholar. So let me share some of the scholar at the national and international levels. So everybody knows about Albert Einstein. Few people are capable of expressing with equanimity opinions that differ from the prejudice of their social environments, and most people are even incapable of forming such opinions. And one of the greatest scientific thinkers in history, many people consider Einstein to be the pinnacles of human intellectual potential, and he very well might be. However, when you take the time to get to learn about the challenges he had to overcome, you will have a more realistic view of what the great one have to do to reach the top. As a young child, Einstein's parents worried about his development. He did not learn to speak until the age of 3. They took him to see doctors to figure out if something was wrong with him. His early academic years were successful but not remarkable. Einstein began to study electrical engineering at the age of 17, and he developed a negative reputation as someone who has a rebellious attitude and frequently skipped class. As a result, he struggled to get a job in academia out of college. Later in his career, Einstein's rebellious attitude served him well. He was willing to question the dogma of the days and develop theories that others could not imagine. Einstein is a person who liked to question everything. So this is the attributes of a scholar. And his unbound creativity was driven by his ability to question the idea accepted by the establishment and explore why they deserve any special distinction. And Einstein eventually became an American citizen and commented that he was impressed by American philosophy and ideals because of their emphasis on personal freedom and free speech, and sound like the words of rebels to me. Well, this is where you can see how Einstein is actually become a scholar. The second one is the local scholar, Malaysian one. Everybody knows our royal professors Unku Abdul Aziz bin Unku Abdul Hamid. He was a Malaysian economist and lecturer. He was the third Vice Chancellor of the University of Malaya from 1968 to 1988, and the first General Directors of the Councils on Language and Literatures of Malaysia from 1956 until 1957, and he was awarded the title of Royal Professor Diraja in 1978. His outstanding contribution is on to the suppressions of poverty, rural economics, the developments of tabung haji, and in the fields of education. And behind every story of a successful man, there must be a way or strategies that they use to achieve their dreams. And similar with Unku Aziz, as he himself has his own special way. So what are his secrets to success as a scholar? The first one is intelligent. So all of the students out there, you are in the right track because you will be graduated soon. You can be categorized as intelligent person. Credibility, build your credibility. Humanity, courage, and discipline. That is the 5 recipe of secrets, the success of Professor Unku Aziz. And one of his famous quotes in Malay that have been shows in the slide is that, I have to speak in Malay. Rajin bercakap, rajin bekerja. Good, very good. Rajin bekerja, malas bercakap. You might be kena bully. Malas kerja, rajin bercakap. Wayang Cina. Malas bekerja, malas bercakap. Tak guna. Malas bekerja, suka mengadu. Nyanyuk. Malas bekerja, selalu ponteng. Baik berhenti. Malas bekerja, suka menyibuk, baik mati. So this is a famous quotes that if you look into it, look into this 7 line of this quote, you can realize that you as yourself, as a Malaysian, let us transform ourselves to become a scholar. The second Malaysian scholar, everybody knows Professor Emeritus Tan Sri Dr. Koo K. Kim. He's a historian emeritus. Professor Tan Sri Datuk Dr. Koo K. Kim is widely regarded as the formative figure in the fields of Malaysian history. Professor Koo's illustrious career spanned both academics and public life. He is the author of countless works in the English and Malay language, and his writing has been a primary source of reference for the history curriculum in Malaysia. He was one of the instrumental figures in the formation of the Rukun Negara, national principles, to foster national cohesion following the aftermath of the 1969 riots, the 31st May. Personal philosophy: never be satisfied with what you are. Always try to improve and change for the better, and not change for the sake of changing. And the message to the young Malaysian by Professor Emeritus Tan Sri Dr. Koo K. Kim, which is actually to all of you: the child is the father of the man. Educate and groom the young person, and he will grow up to be the right kinds of adult. If you wait until he becomes an adult, it is too late. So that's why you need to become a scholar starting from now, and when you actually enroll into a bachelor degree program at the university. Don't say to yourself that I will become a scholar later on when I reach at the age of 40 years old. Don't do that. Nurture yourself to become a scholar from now. Okay. The next Malaysian scholar is Professor Jomo Kwame Sundaram. Okay, Professor Jomo is a leading scholar and expert on the political economies of developments, especially in Southeast Asia, who has authored or edited over 100 books and translated 12 volumes, beside writing many academic papers and articles for the media. He holds the Tun Hussein Own Chair in International Studies at the Institute of Strategics and International Studies, Malaysia, was founder chair of International Development Economic Associate, and sat on the boards of the United Nations Research Institute for Social Development, Geneva. So, one of the important quotes by Professor Jomo have been stated in the slide: public-private partnership undermine democracy, national sovereignty. As such, contracts tend not to be transparent and subject to an unaccountable international adjudication. So this is our scholar that if you read the articles about Professor Jomo, you can actually emulate the quality of successful scholar. Next one is Ibn Sina. Ibn Sina is Abu Ali al-Hussein Ibn Abdullah Ibn Sina, or Ibn Sina for short, was born in Afshana, a village near Bukhara, present day is Uzbekistan, capitals of Samanids, a Persian dynasty in Central Asia. Around 10 years old, he has memorized the entire Quran. As a teenager, he studied Aristotle's metaphysics, which has difficulty understanding. He also studied philosophy with even greater difficulty understanding. He also studied medicine with various teachers. At the age of 16, he was established as a physician by his own account and discovered new methods of treatment. At 18, he achieved full status as qualified physician, also from his own account, and quoted with, "Medicine is no hard and thorny sign like mathematics and metaphysics, so I soon made great progress. I began to treat patients using approved remedies. The Yafu physician fame spread quickly." So emulate the criteria, characteristic, and the habits of Ibn Sina, then you can actually learn how to be a scholar. Next is actually everybody knows Steve Jobs. Okay, this is actually, I think, close to all of you. The name is so incredibly inspiring and intimidating at the same time. The man who created apples, the man who turned black turtlenecks into a uniform of power, the man who changed technology forever. He invented and simplified. Steve Jobs is listed as the primary or co-inventor on 241 patents. Imagine how scholar he is. Hired and developed the best. In an interview of his, Steve Jobs says, the greatest people are self-managing. Have a clear vision. Focus. You have to be focused to become a scholar. Customer obsession. Deliver result. Failure couldn't stop Steve Jobs, and Steve Jobs was a strong believer of perfection. As a scholar, you have to deliver as perfect as you can. He believed that everything happened for a reason, and Steve upheld a strong and clear vision throughout his life. We can learn from them. All the successful scholars that I share today, we can learn from them. Be inspired by them and become a better person by learning about what it means to be a scholar and the quality that make them successful. Okay, so as a student, how come you become a scholar? First, don't ever procrastinate. Most students, they love to do the assignment last minute. At the end of the approaching the deadline of your assignment, then you actually put much effort on it to finish all your assignment. Don't ever procrastinate. Find and follow your own rhythm. You have your own strength and weaknesses. Know your weaknesses and strength. Choose your word wisely. Put your brain in gear before you put your mouth in action. Okay, think. Not actually think twice. Think at least 3 times before you post anything in the Facebook, before you say anything. Because a scholar actually, they actually know what they speak. They actually know what they write. Okay, be a considerate person. Okay, especially during this pandemic COVID-19. Have courage and be kind. Talking about how have courage and be kind, this is actually the popular quotes under the Cinderella movie, where there is a kindness, there is a goodness, and where there is a goodness, there is a magic. So have courage and be kind. So how to become a scholar. First of all, you are actually on the right track. Getting your college education, you enroll into bachelor degree program, you are now in the right track to become a scholar. But you have to make sure that you have specific goal from the beginning. Okay, you have to set what is the target CGPA that you want when you graduated from UTM. Aim for the high one. I actually aim during my undergraduate study, I aim for 4.0 CGPA, and I did not actually get it at my bachelor degree level, but I got it at the master level. Okay, spend time studying, take the right classes, be friends with professors, and do other scholarly activities. So this is where study as much as you can and get good grades in order to get the most out of your time in college. Taking notes and paying attention in class will go a long way towards helping you learn. Get good at this skill if you really want to succeed. And you can study on your own or with other people, whatever work best for you. You know yourself. Working with others, however, allow you to take advantage of their notes. Get help when you need it. Okay, make friends. You can ask your classmate. Make use of the tutoring center, or you can get help from professors or any teaching assistants that provide by the professors. Okay, so be friends with your professors. Remember, befriending your professors is about more than getting a better grades, because they like you more. Okay, emulate. What are the habits of your loved professor, the professor that you love? Your professor can often be your ticket into a good grad school later on, and they may be your colleagues later in your career. Get to know them by taking advantage of office hour. Knock their door during lunch hour. Have a lunch together with them. This is kind of activities that you can actually practice if you want to become a scholar. The second one is that getting the scholar mindset. Okay? Questions everything. Real scholar question everything they hear or read. They never take information at face value and try to make sure the information that they are working with is true. Make sure that any information that you receive, check it whether it's a true information or not. If something seems off, it just might be. Even things that seem right way may be wrong. So make sure you're working with the fact. Preparing your assignment, looking at the fact. Be curious. Scholars are people who naturally curious. They want to know everything. You should be naturally curious too and always try to find out how and why things work the way they do. Love learning. You have to love learning. Scholars love to learn everything. Okay, they enjoy the acts of learning itself, not being smarter than other people or knowing more fact. Okay, and fully form opinions, taking all sides of an argument, hear everything. Okay, argument, take ideas from your friends, and later on you decide which one is the one that you will use or you will believe it. Change your mind, because scholars have to be willing to change your mind. Even though everybody have your own principles of life, I have my own principles of life, but then when you actually mix with people, you have to change your mind. You have to be open-minded. Okay, and the last one, avoid bias. Don't let your personal feeling inform your actions or the information that you give to others. Just because you don't agree with something doesn't make it's not true. Okay, so you might be disagree on your friend's opinion, but it's okay. Okay, because we live in the academic world. Give all information a chance and don't let your bias color your conclusion. Okay, next, the third one is that learning outside of the system. Okay, don't only learn based on at UTM only. You need to read a lot, and the best way to learn without getting a formal education is to read a lot. Okay, love to read. Okay, read as much as you can at every opportunity. Okay, read a newspaper, read a blog, read all the online materials, articles, and so on. Take classes. If you have chance, take classes online. Enroll into any open educational resources and MOOC classes free in the online learning. Okay, try online school. Enroll in any micro-credential short courses through online media. Okay, teach yourself. You can teach yourself new skill and information as well. Human learn by doing. So get out there and do. Volunteer to your friends. How can you help your friend? Teach your friend. And also learn from other people. Have a group discussion. Don't learn alone in your room. Okay, so this is I give you two scenario. This is a scenario that you can emulate on how to scenario that show that you are a scholar. Scenario 1, Ahmad, you are demonstrating the behavior of a scholar by taking time to ponder the question before you answer. So the action by Ahmad, that he actually taking time to ponder the question before he answered the question, show a scholar attributes. Raju, he demonstrate the behavior as a scholar by using his calculator to solve the complex question. He only came prepared with the right tools, show that he know which resources to rely on for the works he is doing. So this is actually a behavior of a scholar. Okay, beside that, the body language ethic. Okay? To be a scholar, you have to be aware on body language ethics. Students must develop the language of a scholar. They must consistently use the language of a scholar. Dress like a scholar. Stand with the right body posture. Speak like a scholar. Read like a scholar. Sit up tall. Use eye contact when communicate with people. Never stare at the guests for their or guests or for their properties. Don't do that. Don't stare at people. Always put smiles on your face when talking to show that you're happy, and also eye contact to show that you pay attention on the explanation of your friends and your professors. Okay, so becoming a successful scholar is important. This is the importance of sharing knowledge and the associated publics and personal belief, and taking one step at a time, slowly. You cannot just become a scholar in one day. It takes time to become scholar. Planning out work into a small attainable goal in first year of your study. What are you planning on to be a scholar? Little bit on nurturing your open-minded and so on. Developing a grow mindset, you have to plan for it. And the importance of collaboration and successful mentor. Might be when you reach up to the second year of your study, then you find your mentor. Okay, and 10 ways to tell a scholar apart from a fool. Okay, true scholars speak little but make a lot of sense. True scholar can make complex concept seem simple. Okay, people love to hear them speak. They are meticulous. They are looking details on everything. They mind the minutest detail. Scholars are humble. Okay, they can be harsh while guiding the truth. Okay, they antagonize with knowledge, not emotion, and they are calm. They always want to learn more. This is the 10 ways to tell a scholar apart from the folk. So, with all the topics, I believe you still have interest to become a scholar, because after this, I will show you on how to inculcate UTM scholarship skill. Okay? Now, we're focusing on inculcating UTM scholarship skills. As I've been mentioned before in my previous slide, there are 4 sub-skills of scholarship skill under UTM. The first one is ability to seek and manage relevant information from a variety of sources. Ability to be receptive to new ideas towards self-directed autonomous learning. Ability to develop an inquisitive mind. Ability to use systematic research methodology. So when you actually read or find resources from internet, make sure you focus on these. You have to know the extension of the website. For example, if the website is actually end with .com, is a commercial intent, can be created by anyone. Okay, if actually end up with .org, this is wide range of credibility because it's under organization, formal organization. Okay, if it actually end up with .edu, this is educational institutions, and since 2001 must be US institutions of higher education. Most higher education in US, they are using .edu, but in Malaysia we are using .my, like for example UTM and .my, www.utm.my. Okay, if it actually end up with .gov, is government entity and restricted to US government side, federal side, states and local. And the 5 critical questions that you have to ask about all the sources that you got it from the internet or anything. The first one is who. Who is the author? What are the author credentials and reputations? Is the author an expert or researcher in the field? You must question this. Second one, what? What is the content? Is the content accurate? And variables are sources and reference cited? And this is the question that you need to ask. Where the information has been published? Is it published in a conference? Is it published in a journal? Is it just in a blog? Or maybe in YouTube and so on. When was the information originally published? If the information published 20 years ago, so might be the information is irrelevant nowadays and it's not relevant anymore. And how? You have to question how the information is presented. Does the information appear to be filtered or in the free form of bias? Might be some of the information is based on personal opinions and been raised up during conflicts, or might be during not really in a good ways of explaining it. Okay, so you need to check also before we believe and share. on the information before you take the information and put inside your assignment. You have to check first, and this is the checklist that you need to know. Question the sources. Remember the 5W 1H, what, who, where, when, and so on. Verify the information. You need to verify the information. Check it. If you get the information from one source only, try to Google it, try to get it from other sources, whether you get the same information or not. Examine the pages. Check the language also, because some of the information has bias in terms of the language and is not really in the neutral ways of explaining it. Read beyond the headline and ask the expert. Who's are the expert? Your professors, your colleagues. This is where you need to get a second opinion from the expert to check the validity of the information. Don't ever receive information and believe it totally and share it through your Facebook or put it in your assignment. You have to check it first. You need to research before you repost on information. Before you repost, whether information is from Wikipedia or Google. When you Google it, you need to check it. Don't ever spread false information. Okay, this is very important, because to become a scholar, you have to have this skill. Think, not really think twice. Think as many as you can. Okay, so think about it. And how to spot fake news? Consider the source. You have to consider the source. Then you can spot whether the news is fake or not. Check the author. Okay, check the date. Check your biases. Ask the expert. Is it a joke? Sometimes it's just a joke. Okay, supporting sources that support the articles or support the information. Read beyond it and make a judgment on it. Okay, that is how you can, if you can practice this kind of skills, then you're able to inculcate the scholarship skill inside yourself to align what UTM want you to cover and to achieve when you're studying at UTM. Inquisitive mind. Inquisitive mind is the ability to listen and consider the ideas and experience of your team and aptitude to go without sleep. And inquisitive mind is one that is curious and seek out new knowledge. And inquisitive mind often asks questions and seek honest and detailed answers. So you must have inquisitive mind. So this thing that you have to know, that you have to listen and consider the ideas and experience of your team. That's why you cannot work alone. You have to work with your friend. How to boost up inquisitive mind? Foster a give it a try mentality. Give it a try. If you are not a person who like or love to ask questions or to be in curiosity and anything, give it a try. Okay, celebrate mistake. Everybody make a mistake. You learn from the mistake and don't ever do it again. Okay, enter with a clear mind. Don't assume you know how everything works. I'm also in the process of learning also. So there are so many things that I need to learn. Okay, ask question. If you did not know, ask question. Usually in a class, especially in the online learning classes, okay, just raise your arms and ask question with your professor. Become familiar with encountering the unfamiliar. This is very important. Become familiar. Sometimes you face unfamiliar situation. Make it familiar. Make it something that you're comfortable with. Diversify your interests. Okay, and let yourself be amazed at everyday things. Every day is you learn a new thing and feel excited on it. This is how you can boost up your inquisitive mind and boost up your energy. Beside that, of course, practice 5W. Okay, why, what, who, where, and when, and 1H, how. If you reach out a conclusion, consider alternative as well. Why? Okay, accumulate as much information as possible before espousing views. Utilize a varieties of sources when studying fields that may come with subjective values rather than objective findings. Have discussion with people who share differing opinions on the subject. Okay, ask your friend, why do you think like that way? That then you know and you learn why your friend have a different opinions from yours. Remember, iron sharpens iron. Okay. How to nurture curious and inquisitive young mind. This is by Professor Stephen Hawking. Remember to look up at the star and not down at your feet. Try to make sense of what you see and wonder what makes the universe exist. Be curious. Okay, the next sub-skills of scholarship skills that you need to cover is about preparing a scholarly academic writing. Writing can be challenging, but it can allow you to explore questions, solutions, and ideas. An essay can essentially serve as a conversation with yourself on a subject that has sparked your mind. Before you can write a good academic papers, you must first read. A scholar loves to read. A crucial function of transforming into a self-made scholar is to read as much as you can. Reading allows you to absorb as much information as possible on a wide varieties of subjects. And it also helps you explore different ideas, expand your vocabularies, and perhaps turn you into one of those people who has a William Shakespeare's quote handy for any occasions. There are 5 tips for writing papers. First, you have to get to the point. And the second one, know your audience, who's going to read your writing. The third one, provide a supporting evidence. You need to cite it, reference articles that to support your point and your ideas in your writing. Follow a proper writing structure. Academic writing has an introduction, has a proper structures of it, and take the helps of online classes also. If you have problems in preparing academic writing, join any online classes on writing. And with these 5 tips of writing academic papers, you can use it in preparing your assignments, might be on critical review on papers in your for your classes. And with these tips, and if you practice it, you can actually enhance the scholarship skill inside yourself. Okay, to be a scholar is not only focusing on all the things that have been shared for today's session, but there are 3 other important factors that you need to take care about yourself. The first one is that you have to have enough sleep. Okay, when you have enough sleep, your brain will work very well. You have to eat well. Okay, check the food that you eat and make sure that you eat well. You eat healthy food and balance in terms of nutrition. You need to do exercise also. Okay, if you have a free time, your body need exercise, your body craving for it, and go for it. And with these 3 of habits, you will stay healthy. And this is very important because a scholar is not only happy and professional only from the personality that we look, but inside the self of a scholar, the scholar must be happy, have a healthy body and fit and so on. So challenge yourself as a university student, first degree university student. Create a blog, create a YouTube channel, self-publish a book. There are so many online publisher nowadays. Publish a podcast, read every books and article available, and share your ideas and talk to other, because they are all the practice and habit to be a successful scholar. So all UTM students, remember, be confident, stay focused in your study. Remember, make us proud. And I believe you can become a scholar. You can make us proud and contribute back to the nations and to the UTM society. Thank you very much. I end my sharing session with wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. I give back the sessions to Dr. Farhana. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Zaidaton Tasir. Okay, such a great sharing, such an inspiring words. Okay, from Prof. Zaida. Okay, for your information. Okay, just to let you know, Prof has been an academician since 1995. Okay, so she has a lot of experience. Alright, and I hope you are all has been inspired by her sharing, and together we are moving to be a great scholar. Okay, so that's all for our lecture series. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum. Have a good day.